Good morning, church. Nice to see you all again. I hope you're keeping well and enjoying the return of the nice weather this week and getting out and about. We are on to our 16th video in the Characters of the Bible Through the Alphabet series, which means we are on to the letter P, and we are looking today at Peninnah. Peninnah is found in 1 Samuel in the Old Testament, and in the very first chapter of 1 Samuel. You've got Elkanah. Elkanah is married to Peninnah and to Hannah. Hannah, you might know a little bit more about. She was the mother of Samuel, who had prayed for him for years, and then when she got him, she gave Samuel up to go and live in the temple. And Samuel was the one who fell asleep and God called him, and later anointed Saul as king, and then anointed David as king. So this is happening before all of that. So you've just got Elkanah and Peninnah and Hannah. And at this point in time, Hannah has no children and Peninnah does have lots of children. And Elkanah feels sorry for Hannah. So whenever they go and worship, he gives Hannah double whatever he gives Peninnah. And Peninnah teases Hannah and bullies her over the fact that she doesn't have any children. And that's pretty much all we know about Peninnah. And I've always thought of Peninnah as a bit mean for teasing Hannah and making her life miserable. But actually, when I think about it, I do sort of sympathise with her. Imagine being married to a man and him having another wife and knowing that the other wife is the favourite, knowing that she will always be best. Especially in a time when your worth usually came from the children he had, and she'd given him children. She'd gone through all of their childbearing and bringing up these kids, and none of it mattered. None of it got her anywhere with her husband. Hannah was always the favourite. I think jealousy is a really difficult emotion. And I think one of the hard things about it is it's hard to control. If something comes into your mind and you feel jealous, it's there. And it's at that point that you have to decide how to act on it. And it can become an overriding emotion that takes over your whole life. I know that moments when I've been jealous, it can be really difficult to act calmly and sensibly in those situations. I, as you know, have got a very close relationship with my grandfather. I talk about him a lot. And growing up, I wasn't terribly close to my parents or to my brothers, but I was very close to my grandfather. But my grandfather naturally wanted to be close to my brothers too, and he put effort into trying to see them after Sunday lunch and wanting to spend time with them. And he talks about how my little brother David used to go and sit next to him in church. And I know that when that first happened, I just felt it was so unfair. I put in a lot of effort to go and visit my grandfather as much as possible. I was taught Latin by him, I spent lots of time with him, but I never felt like I was the favourite, and I felt I should be the favourite. And when we get jealous, our actions are not always with the person who instigates what we see as the wrong. My grandfather was definitely in the right to spend time with my brothers as well as me. But my anger wasn't against him, it was against my brothers for the fact that they were taking my grandfather when he should have been all mine. I think that has sometimes happened wider in society. When you see another person who is thriving because of an unjust system, sometimes we blame that person rather than the unjust system. I know in Malawi, when I was there, I lived in a place called Nsanje, which literally translates as jealousy. And there's a fantastic man who from Australia who went out to teach people how to farm, and he took on a sort of a discipleship model and worked with 12 people a year. And one person, he managed to show them lots of different ways to help their crops to thrive, and it really worked. And the local people came and burnt his house down because they felt it was unfair that he was doing so much better than them. They weren't cross that they didn't have the knowledge, they were cross with him for doing well, because that jealousy took over. And it made me think, how on earth do we combat such a negative emotion? And I think one of the things that I've realised when I'm jealous is to think about where my focus is. Because when our focus is always on how we lack in comparison to other people, then actually it's impossible to ever get over that sort of jealousy. When our focus is on what God is doing in our lives and what He has given to us and how we could use it to help others, then we are far more likely to take joy when we see other people doing well and getting things that are good for them in their lives. And I want to be very careful when I say that, because if you're a slave, it's okay that you don't feel that's okay and that you want freedom, and definitely you need to fight for it. I'm thinking about times when we are jealous of something that somebody else has got that we don't have, and we don't want them to have it. You know, we want everybody to be free from oppression and freedom. We want everybody to have the means to live and provide for themselves and for their families without worrying about not being able to get the necessities in life. And that's okay. I'm thinking about the bitterness and that jealousy that leads us to want bad things for others. And when we start to feel that, well, I think I need to start focusing a lot more on the ways that God is blessing me and the ways that I can bless other people. Because when our heads are filled with that sort of thing, there's no space left for the jealousy and the negativity. And you start to be far more happy for the people around you, for what they're getting out of life, and for the blessings that they're also receiving. There's a huge amount about jealousy in the Bible. I think of Sarah and Abraham, and Sarah being so jealous of everybody else having children, not having them herself, and so sending off Hagar to Abraham. The jealousy of Saul in seeing David doing better than himself. And the years of tumult that caused. Let's be really careful not to spend years being affected by jealousy. Let's fight it and get it out of our lives. I'm going to pray for us. Lord, I thank you that each one of us is so valuable to you, that we're all of such great worth to you. Lord, if we ever see a situation or a person and we start to envy it and be jealous of it, please remind us of the love that you have for us and the blessings that you pour into our lives. Give us the strength to fight off that jealousy and to want good things for all of the people around us. Amen. Our next video is on to the letter Q, and we're going to be looking at Quirinius. So I'll see you again for the next video. Have a lovely day, keep well, and hopefully we'll all be able to start going for some more socially distanced walks and meetups in the park at some point soon. Bye!